It's crazy because it's literally your time. It's literally your time to blossom. Right now, you're in the midst of coming in to being comfortable with allowing yourself to express your truest identity, your truest form of who you are. For so long, you've lived in this fear of being judged for who you authentically are. And right now, you're just saying, forget that. Right now, you're saying that what matters to me the most right now at this moment is me showing up in the most authentic form that I possibly can for myself, because that is how I will be able to live life fluidly, flowingly, lovingly, and beautifully. And I love that for you. I feel that for you. I feel as though you've lived a lot of your life in fear of what others would think if you were to show up and be who you truly were. Or you were waiting for the invitation for somebody to be like, hey, it's okay for you to be in your own skin and authentically in your own energy. But you're no longer waiting for anybody else to tell you that it is okay to be within your own energy. And I love that for you, and I love that for me. Because right now, I think this is definitely a good time for each and every one of us collectively to get rid of fear, to get rid of those feelings of doubt, to get rid of those feelings of feeling like you don't belong because you're different. But when it comes down to it on an energetic level, we are all God frequencies. We are all gods expressing ourselves in different forms. And you've just learned that your expression of yourself is just a little bit different than other people's. And I just love that for you. Because when you express your truest form and you express the truest reality of what you know you feel on the inside, you spread this genuine joy and this genuine light and energy towards other people around you. And that's what the world needs more of. We need more genuinity. Is that a word? I made that up. But we need more genuineness. We need more love. You see, when you exude the most authentic energy from inside to without, then you're able to spread more kindness and peace, because what you feel on the inside you will express on the outside to others. So when you start to get in that energy where you're starting to maybe not care as much as what people thought, because you spent so much time with people telling you and kind of blocking you from being in your truest energy. And I don't like that for you. I don't like that for you. I don't like that for me. People would oftentimes like make me feel like I couldn't be in my truest energy, my truest form. You see, what happens when you aren't in your truest energy, you kind of are on like a teeter-totter, and you are in limbo between your highest self and then your lowest self, in a sense. Your ego, your earthly self, and you don't realize that your higher self is basically this understanding that you and your own consciousness is a smaller form of all consciousness around you. And right now, I feel like you're just starting to really embody that. You're starting to have that feeling within you like, hey, like, I know who I am. I'm coming more into terms with this reality that I know that I am aligned with, and I'm going to just live in my truest self without caring about what others are going to think. Because there comes a point in time where we have to either decide what matters more, what other people think on the outside or what we think of ourselves. Because what we think of ourselves matters the most. I feel like too, like you've been misunderstood a lot of your life. That most people have felt like you were expressing something that you weren't. You were this kind of outcast character that a lot of people were like, you're a little different. And I feel you on that. I feel you on that black sheep energy. But it's so crazy because we're in a season where the black sheeps are shining. And right now, I feel like the world really needs to see and feel your energy. So you were in your shell long enough for the majority of your life, if not that, right? You were in this shell, but now it's time for you to come out of your shell and share with the world what you have to offer. And even if it's just showing up as your most authentic self, I think it's time for the world to see that. It's time for the world to be made a better place just by you existing within it, because you deserve to show up as your truest form, and others deserve to see that and feel that energy from you. The reason why a lot of us aren't able to have the most authentic relationships with other people is because we don't have the most authentic relationship with ourselves. So inside, in our own energetic state, in our own energetic ecosystem, if we don't have that interconnectedness, we won't have the interconnectedness with everything around us, because everything is connected. Everything is connected. Every single thing is connected. That's what makes us the existence of all things, because all things are intertwined. Nothing is disassociated with one another. You see, the mind likes to play tricks on us and likes to make us feel like things are not as connected as they are. You see, a lot of the world wants us to live in this environment where the things are in different categories, or things are in separate division, but nothing is separate unless we make it that way. So once you separate the authentic self and this version of a self that you've created, or even if you've separated your truest authentic self, right? You're understanding that you are consciousness and that all consciousness around you exist within your own consciousness as well, and it's all connected. And then reality, right? The reality that you see on a daily basis. Once you disconnect those two, now you're living in a place where you're in limbo, because you're fighting between the spiritual realm and the reality realm, the physical realm. But once you put those two together, as you're on the path to right at this moment of getting closer, and it feels like maybe a state of like nothing's happening, but really things are happening underneath the surface. It's kind of like a plant, right? When you plant those seeds that you've planted a while ago, seeds that you planted a while ago are really, really growing right now. They're really growing. And you don't even know it. They've been growing for a while. Like even years, perhaps. Like you're in this growth phase that's like underneath the surface. It's a subconscious growth that you haven't realized that you've been actually cultivating for quite a while. And it's showing up in little daily things in your life. And you're changing. You're changing for the better. You're changing for the greatness and the goodness of yourself and everyone else around you. And I love that. I love that for the collective energy. I love that for you. And just know, like, that fear, that doubt, that either people are going to judge you, it's not always going to be there. Eventually it's just going to go away, and it's going to be null and void. You're not going to feel that anymore. You're not going to feel that energy of being afraid to show up for yourself, because when you show up for yourself, you can show up for the rest of the world. And you may not be that person that wants to, do work on the outside, but like I said, when you show up authentically and you give that energy on a daily basis of you showing up as yourself, you give a gift to everybody around you. You give a gift of authenticity. And we need more authenticity in the world. We do, We definitely need more authenticity in the world. We need people who aren't afraid to jump out of the matrix, who aren't afraid to go against the grain. And it's not even to say you got to be somewhat extremely just different out of the box. And if you are, that's amazing. But what I mean is just showing up as you and doing you without the fear of what other people are going to think. As long as you're being a good, loving, kind, and caring person, and you're not harming or hurting anyone else, show up as you any day, every second, every minute, and every hour. Continue to show up as you. I love that. Show up as you. Be the energy. Yeah. Don't be afraid anymore. Right now is your time. Use this energy. Use this time right now that each of us are in. Use this time to really gather yourself and be like, I'm gonna take one step closer to each day, to showing up, to being my truest and most authentic form. And it's not easy. I know that you might be afraid and you might be scared that still people are gonna judge you, but irregardless, people are gonna judge you anyway, if you're authentic or inauthentic. People judge inauthenticity as well. So what's the harm in you actually showing up and being yourself? What's the harm gonna do? And then it drapes back also to understanding who you truly are, because authenticity is really you understanding that you're part of a greater purpose. You're part of a greater divine power than you think you are. You are an embodiment of the entire universe. You are the embodiment of the creator. You are a God expression in human form. You are this. You are a benevolent being, and a lot of time us as humans, we like to kind of degrade ourselves, especially when it comes to certain beliefs and systems that are in place for us that kind of stay that way. But I think there's this deep awakening within the system and within the collective of everybody, is that people are awakening to their truest power and understanding now that they're just not some blip in existence. They're not just some random piece of human experience, that their spirit experience and that their consciousness has an involvement in all consciousness and every single thing. Each and every one of us are connected in some way. We didn't just come from nothing. Everything started from consciousness, and from consciousness there became reality. There became us. If you think about it on a greater and deeper level, everything existed because of a thought first. So continue to believe in yourself, continue to express yourself, and to show up authentically.